of surgeons made a lot of money removing a breast. So another set of plastic surgeons came and said, don't worry, we'll give you a better breast. So they reconstructed a better breast. So in the bargain, this girl was minus so many $1 million. That doesn't matter because she makes money anyway. That's her job. After that, she had a lot of problems. Anyway, she recovered. Now another set of doctors have told her that her mother's elder sister had cancer of the uterus. So now she has got her uterus removed. Then they said some other relative has ovarian cancer, so ovary is also removed. So I wrote an article. Very soon she will be left with bone and skins. And then cancer will come in the bone or in the skin. So this is the myth of technology, biotechnology. Here we do biotechnology in agriculture. There are 500 species of solanaceae plants in the wild, but only 2 are edible. Your potato and your sweet potato. Sweet potato is such a fascinating, nutritious thing and a medicinal thing. Sweet potato is very good for treatment of diabetes. You will be surprised, mango is a very good treatment for diabetes, but not eating the whole mango. 1 or 2 pieces of mango, because mango is a functional food. Very, very powerful anti-diabetic substances are there in the mango. Coming back to our potato, what have we done now? We have included an Arctic gene, virus gene, onto the potato. And then we say, okay, well, potato now it can be thrown anywhere. No cooling needed, no refrigeration needed. The Western companies tell you, no refrigeration needed. You go and tell the government, they'll be happy. So they are happy, you are happy, and your bosses are happy, and you get a job in the FIA or ILO or something like that. And what happens now to the potato? It mutates. Supposing it mutates after 3 or 4 generations, and it becomes inedible. What will you do? In the 30s depression, whole of Ireland survived on potato. And if potato is also not edible, then you are finished. Sweet potato also can mutate. So don't you meddle with nature, because nature will treat you. Rajagopalachari, the thinking genius from this state, wrote to Jawaharlal Nehru when he was thinking of Bakranangal project. Because Aswan Dam, Nasser has done, so Bakranangal we must do. This is all, ego problems. Rajagopalachari wrote, Dear Jawahar, treat nature as your mother, she will feed you for all times to come. If you mistreat nature as your mistress, she will kick you in the teeth. And see, that's what has happened now. So friends, you're all agricultural scientists. My humble request to you is, in the name of keeping potato alive on the ground itself for months together, don't you put an Arctic virus gene, because you don't know what that gene does as you go down the drain. We say we do stem cell research. And there are people now working on stem cells. Each time, heart disease patient, stem cell in Bangkok, 5 lakhs per injection. And what happens? The patient, of course, will meet his maker a little sooner than later. Because you can't change the human genes outside the body. Body has genetic engineering. You didn't know? You have a fracture, let us say. When you have a fracture, you break your bone, and the periosteum of the bone gets lifted. There's a clot there, small little clot. You take that clot and study under the electron microscope. The red blood cell, which is a nice circle, after 3-4 days puts out pseudopodia. And then after another week, it becomes a pluripotent stem cell. That is endogenous stem cell. And that is how you, not because the orthopedic surgeon has set it and put a plaster that it heals. You must grow the bone to bone, nerve to nerve, artery to artery, vein to vein, skin to skin, muscle to muscle. All this is done by our own body's stem cells. So beautifully done. You have the salamander at home, you cut its tail, it grows after 3-4 days. You can do the same thing for man. You induce the human body to produce stem cells. That's endogenous stem cells. But if you do exogenous stem cells in vitro, in your laboratory, you put it inside there, the genes can only penetrate in an environment which is conducive. What is the environment? Consciousness of the human body. And the consciousness doesn't fit in with your thing, and something else happens. We tried genetic engineering for treating cancers in children, blood cancers. And very quickly we realized the present cancer dies, another dangerous cancer comes immediately. Instead of the blood cancer, brain cancer started killing children. So we stopped doing genetic engineering. So don't do genetic engineering in agriculture, because nature has taught us that it's not a good idea. But what should we do? We should go back to our conventional agriculture. I met an Andhra farmer one day. some years ago. I was in the LIC board, this man was also in the LIC board, and we were having a meeting in Hyderabad. So he told me, sir, why don't you come to my house, I'll show you a mango tree. So I went to his house in the village, a mango tree which gives 6 lakhs mangoes in one season. And he has got a 10 lakhs prize through the government of India. Anybody who grows without putting any fertilizer, etc., in one tree, 6 lakh mangoes, he'll give them 10 lakhs prize. Nobody has taken the prize so far. For generations, they have never used chemicals. Today, you have completely destroyed the earth. And if you destroy the earth, you will only get nothing. Because today, have you seen frogs these days? In my village, I don't see frogs. When I was a student, we used to cut frogs for our zoology dissection, and villagers used to get it to the college and sell it. Today, you can't get frogs, because frogs are all killed. But nature has given you so much beautiful things. What do? We use the germs to destroy and denature milk and produce beautiful curd and buttermilk. And the more you ferment it, the better it is, because you get such fantastic germs. And your immune system is from your mouth to your anus. And this is maintained by these curds. Why? Right from the mouth. You know the Indian system of eating? The last meal you eat is curd rice. Right? Why? If you eat the last thing as sweet, it remains there and caries occurs in your teeth. When you have buttermilk, the germs in the buttermilk kill all the bad germs in the mouth, clean the mouth, and leave only good germs in the mouth. If you use Listerine from the doctor's shop, you kill all germs. And if you don't have germs in the mouth, your mouth is destroyed in no time. You cut your tongue, within 24 hours the tongue is healed because of the germs in the mouth. You every morning clean it with your Listerine mouthwash. You cut your tongue, it will take one week to heal. Just see this. And we have such beautiful things. Coconut water, coconut oil for example. Coconut oil is the best oil for human consumption, because coconut oil and mother's milk contain the same fat. Monolauric acid, sodium monolauric acid. And monolauric acid is the base of Indian human immune system. No other oil in this world except mother's milk has this fat. If you see your infant feed, even when there was a big chorus against coconut oil, Indian infant feed has to have coconut oil as a base. Because if you put any other oil, the infant will die. Because mother's milk and coconut oil are the only two things that can digest it in the mouth. In the mouth. Because a child up to the age of 1 year doesn't have pancreatic juice. And when you don't have pancreatic lipase, you can't digest fat. But salivary lipase digests fat in mother's milk and coconut oil. But that coconut oil was demonized for so long. And we suffered. Now America says, no, coconut oil is very good. Coconut milk is very good. Actually, Americans now eat cornflakes with coconut milk and not cow's milk. And today every American house doesn't have so much of Coca-Cola in their refrigerator, but their tender coconut water in caches, big cartons. And you must see, I was telling Peter, there's the biggest cash and carry shop, it's called Costco. Their head office, half the building is called Coconut Building. Americans are crazy after coconut oil. About a few years later, our own scientists were saying, no, coconut oil is very bad, it contains cholesterol. I used to tell doctors who said coconut oil contains cholesterol that you must go to first MBBS and fail the exam. Because he doesn't know biochemistry. Cholesterol comes from an animal cell. It can't come from any agricultural, or vegetarian cells. So how can coconut oil have cholesterol? So we created caste system among fats to say cholesterol is saturated fat, unsaturated fat. It's our own classification. We created that. And scientists were created for saying that to make money. The reason was in the 30s, there was a big depression in America. And up until the 30s, even bread was made with coconut oil in America. But the American farmers revolted and said, our soya bean is dying, and if the government doesn't do something about it, we will all go on strike. And if the farmers go on strike, the American president cannot be elected. So they called a few scientists, Sarkari scientists, and said, create a monster out of coconut oil. And they were there ready with their papers, beautiful papers published in the glossy journals. And they said, Coconut oil is saturated fat, and saturated fat is very unhealthy because it becomes, cholesterol and triglyceride and what have you. And they built a big empire on fat. This lasted for about 20 years. Then came another era called the sugar era. In England, there was a big scientist called, what's his name? Hofbrand. And Hofbrand produced the same data on cane sugar. Death rate due to heart disease in x-axis, y-axis, and sugar consumption x-axis, straight line. So he wrote a paper, pure, white and deadly. The most important cause of death is sugar and not fat. What they all missed is, when two things go up concurrently in society, they always have this relationship, straight line. But it's not cause effect. It's like saying, what's your normal blood sugar? Who knows your normal blood sugar? My normal blood sugar is different from your normal blood sugar. What we are talking is average sugar. If 100 people's blood sugar is plotted, it will be a Gaussian curve. And what we have done, we took the mean plus 2 standard deviation, that is a statistical terminology, and made it as normal, which means all the other normals who are outside the mean are all called false positives. So if a patient goes in, comes out a patient, if a man goes into the doctor's checkup, he comes out as a patient. And if today we can check about 750 parameters of your body, called the total body scan. And if each parameter has about 10% false positives, imagine if 100 people go out, 7,500 people come out as patients. Beautiful business for us. This is called disease mongering. So we have to really go and find out what is good for food, and very minimal food, but food must be without chemicals and fertilizers. The last thing, what has food got to do with various diseases? And how do you treat food? Food can be your medicine. We have a new study on millets. How many of you have done that? Millets. Millets are beautiful because we killed ourselves by depending on two things. Water-rich vegetables, water-rich crops, and then of course the various other things associated with that. Rice and various IR 180, this, that, and all kinds of rubbish. Diabetic, eats chapati. Poor South Indian housewife, she has not cooked chapati and she is under stress and her blood pressure goes up. But the husband wants only chapati. And we have nicely done this because we have read the Western books. What do they do? You take wheat, and wheat gluten is the biggest harm for the pancreatic beta cells. So if you take wheat, you become a permanent diabetic for the rest of your life. So we want to have more business. If you take your own rice, brown rice, kaikuthalarsi, you must see there's a beautiful chemical called metadicol, which has got now US patent as the best medicine for so many diseases, including diabetes. And we don't eat that. And we have been eating it for all our generations. We have been eating brown rice. And today, suddenly, the Western style doctors say, you eat wheat, chapati. And that too very interesting. I went to Ludhiana. Near Ludhiana, there is a small village where people do not eat PL480 wheat strain. They have a separate old wheat strain. That village has nobody who has diabetes. Can you believe that? Nobody who has diabetes. So now we have come one step further. We are depending for our seeds on some big Western companies. Terminator seeds. And now we have been, our scientists were very kind to allow BT cotton at one stage. And lot of farmers, of course, committed suicide. Now Bangladesh allowed BT brinjals. We have nice matti gullas in India. And BT brinjals, Bangladesh is ruined. Now genetic engineering is another way of controlling the world through technology and money. So the world has to be controlled through technology and money. You are spoiling our health. So friends, agriculture is very important for human health. A, you must produce enough for all people to avoid malnutrition or subnutrition, calorie subnutrition. And we have enough to eat, but don't overeat. As long as you eat, ideal thing is you must eat what your ancestors have been eating. You are not sitting in India, you are not eating olive oil. Olive oil is good for Mediterranean people, not for you. For you, coconut oil is what God has given you. And that's the best oil for you. Or gingerly oil. Or any other oil that is good for India. We take fruits from the Mediterranean place for our fruit. No, our best fruit here, the best fruit, you know, it must be fresh fruit because you can't get apple. Apple has to come from say Kashmir. When it comes to Chennai, there's nothing in it. Every 24 hours, 25% of the nutrients go. And you have nice water with junk which you pay through your nose. But you see your Goa. I tell you, it's the best fruit for disease treatment. And the ideal thing for constipation, because as you age older and are very tense, you're all constipated. So this is very interesting. And you get it fresh. You, on the roadside, you have still the leaves sticking onto that. 100% fresh. And banana, our own banana. But what do? We create the yellow color by giving chemicals and fertilizers. No, your own homegrown, kitchen garden grown. But in America today, you can't have a kitchen garden. Do you know that? But the large companies influence the government saying that if you grow a kitchen garden, you are arrested. You can't have your own cow because the milk sold in the dairies is poisonous. No, you are arrested. Which means the governments are trying to help the industry, and I request government of India should not do that because we are not aping the West. Friends, food cannot be divorced from health. Health and food are very complicated. And people who don't know what human health is should not meddle with advising the government about food and agriculture. So you must have a holistic approach. When you deal with food, you must know what the food is eaten by whom. Whether it's animal or human being, you must know something about the human being. Here what happens? Science is divided. We don't have holistic scientists. We have reductionist scientists. So this reductionism will destroy science forever. Because the second law of thermodynamics says anything that divides eventually disappears. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much.